What's up guys, and welcome back to another champion spotlight video for Raid Shadow Legends. Today I want to talk about Khoronar, the new Void legendary for the Skinwalkers. We already reviewed Minaya, so now let's look at the partner Khoronar. First of all, let's just say that his model looks amazing. It's new, it's not a reskin. Keep up the good work, Plarium. This is the kind of stuff we want to see. Let's get right into his skills and what they have to offer. His A1 Flourish of Slaughter attacks all enemies, has a 50% chance of decreasing each target's turn meter by 10%, so already very strong. Attacks all enemies 2 times instead of 1, and the chance of decreasing each target's turn meter increases to 100% if Minaya is on the same team. The damage of each hit will be decreased by 50%. So right off the bat, we see a partner bonus with Minaya, and it's actually pretty strong. So it's attacking 2 times instead of 1. The damage on each hit is reduced by 50%. However, it does add a 100% turn meter decrease, so that's absolutely fantastic. Let's move on to his A2. The A2 is Beastly Bellow. Has a 75% chance of placing a provoke debuff on all enemies for 1 turn. Places a block debuffs buff and a 60% increased defense buff on this champion for 2 turns. Now, as we can see here, there's another Minaya bonus for the partner. Removes all debuffs from this champion before placing the block debuffs and increased debuff if Minaya is on the same team. So this is strong, and it might not seem like it. However, if you consider your champion already having a defense down, attack down, healing reduction, anything like that, placing a block debuff after isn't as strong because it still suffers from the effects. This is beautiful. It does a cleanse for you, so another added bonus to having Minaya on the same team. For the A3, we have a skill called Battle Waltz. Attacks all enemies, places a 50% decreased attack debuff on all enemies for 2 turns, places a 60% decreased defense debuff on targets under the decreased attack debuff. So now we have a passive called Ferocious Guard, where it counterattacks when hit by enemies under attack down, defense down, or decrease speed. So now only one of these debuffs has to be on the target for him to counterattack. So this is awesome. This is a really cool champion. This is pretty much a free retaliation set, avenging set. I know avenging has to do with health, but this is really cool. So always counters when hit if Minaya is on the same team. So this is not as big of a partner bonus because most likely he's going to begin with this A3. However, if for some reason they go first and Minaya's on the team, now he gets a free counterattack. And we also saw that if Minaya is on the team, that's a 100% decreased turn meter on his A1, which is what he would be using to counterattack with. So this is formulating to be a very, very strong pair of champions. Now we actually have a second passive on this champion, which is rather unique. I can't off the top of my head think of any other champions with double passives, so let's get into it. This is called Spectacle. Places a 60% increased defense buff on all allies for 2 turns if this champion kills an enemy. So that's very strong. We have to see how this works and how realistic it is for him to kill a champion, but this is still something that I like to see. It could be useful in arena, dungeons, so on and so forth. Clan boss, obviously you won't be killing an enemy, but that's another story. So now let's get into the masteries. Before we do that, I am going to remove my camera. So pretty much we have a typical one-shot build here. Everything here revolves around him doing ramping damage from methodical and so on. I chose to go the defense tree because I did have enough gear to increase his accuracy enough, so the support tree didn't seem like it was going to help me. One interesting talent I did choose, since he is already a counterattack champion based off his kit, I decided to give him a Cycle of Revenge. 50% chance of increasing the turn meter by 15% when an ally is attacked with a critical hit. My initial thought and review on this champion is he's going to be a very good support champion in dungeons. So a mastery like this could really amplify his kit. Now let's go over book value for Khoronar. For his A1, it's strictly a damage increase. He is based on HP, so we're going to have to find out through the rest of the video what his multipliers are, how good they are, so on and so forth. So for his A2, we have the option to increase the provoke to a 100% chance. 100% chance, as we all know, is very strong. Also, this reduces the cooldown from 4 turns to 3 turns. Depending on what content you're doing, you might not need to reduce this cooldown. It's very good cycling through cooldowns to have it lower. However, you're going to have to take a step back and look at where he can help you and see if this is worth it for you. Personally, I would say the 100% provoke chance, 10 out of 10, worth booking if you can get lucky enough to get those two. Now the A3 is similar to the A1. We just have an additional reduced cooldown. So like I said before, 20% more damage is very strong. And you're really going to have to look at where he fits into your composition to determine whether it's worth reducing Battle Waltz from a 5-turn cooldown to a 2-turn cooldown. Now that we've gone over the basics, let's look at the total stats he has on him now and the gear I chose to put on him. So as we can see here, I gave him 86,000 health, which is a ton of health. I understand that. I really wanted to see where this champion stands when showing off this video, which is why I gave him so much health as a health-based champion. We gave him 2,200 defense, 183 speed, 102% critical rate, 271% crit damage, 259 accuracy. Now, briefly looking at his base stats, interestingly enough, he has 57% crit damage. I know I kind of skipped on the list, but that's a very interesting number to start with. Usually it's 50 or 63. His base health is very high, 27,000. Defense, a little bit on the lower end, but that's fine for a health-based champion. Love to see the speed with the base of 99. That's a really solid point to have for a champion like this. So now the moment we've all been waiting for, let's test Khoronar, the Skinwalker Legendary, out. Alright, since we have a Dragon tournament going on, I felt what better place to test it than Dragon, just to go with 4 people in this comp so I could really show what Khoronar can do. We have Venus as the leader, Zavia, Dracomorph, and of course Khoronar. Let's put this to 1x speed. Let's debuff our friends here. Make sure all the debuffs landed. Okay, we'll throw some poisons on from Zavia. Draco will just throw on some more poisons. We don't want to do too much damage. Let's see his A2 animation. I'm pretty sure it's just a basic provoke, but let's check it out. Alright, so the provoke went out. Like I said before, this he isn't booked, so it's not 100%. So we did miss it on one target. Now let's just cycle through the cooldowns, hit the target that isn't provoked. Now we see the first A1. Awesome animation already. I really love the vines growing up. Now let's hit this target again, and then we'll watch the A1 proc when the next champion goes. Let's take a look at the damage here. So we have 19,000 to 15,000 so far. Let's use Draco's A1 on an HP burn. We'll wait until the next round to use his A3. Let's just use a basic A1 and see how it goes. Okay, so that one went up to 25,900 just on his A1. Pretty strong for a health-based champion. Now let's debuff the targets again. So we did get a resist there. What we're going to do is we are going to... Actually, I guess we'll test the A3 out. So now let's see Battle Waltz. We do have one target without a defense down, but we'll be able to look at all the other ones and look at the numbers. Okay, so that was really cool to see. 60,000 to 57,000 from a support champion. I did give him some damage gear, but he's still extremely tanky, and so far this champion's looking awesome. I mean, we don't even have Manaya on the team, so we're not really getting the full value from his kit. So as of right now, 8 out of 10 champion without the partner bonus. So let's cycle through this a bit, return it to 2x speed, and just watch him play out until we get to the dragon to see if he can add any more of a bonus to fighting against bosses. I'm not sure if he's going to counterattack against the dragon, so we'll have to see how that goes. So there was an A1 for 22,000. There's an A1 again for 23,000. Okay, so he did counterattack, which is awesome to see. He also placed the attack down on the dragon. Obviously the provoke didn't work, but he did put a block debuff and increased defense on himself. Alright, so overall, my first impression, He's not meant to do damage. He's really meant to be a huge support role champion. I do have pretty decent damage gear on him, and he isn't hitting typical numbers that I could put on another support champion, mostly like a defense-based champion where I can get 100,000, 120,000. So I think the main idea around him would be not to build him damage. 100% crit rate for sure, not to worry too much about critical damage, and build him with defense, absolutely. Now this could all change significantly if paired with Manaya, but I'm not going to go over too much of the Manaya pair in this video because some people only have this champion, since we already talked about the partner bonus when going over the skills, so we already know how it interacts. So now that we tested a Mountain Dragon, let's take him for a spin in the Ice Golem 20. As we can see here, the first ability he chose to use was his A2, which is the provoke, just to get a little insight on his AI. He had his cooldowns refreshed and reapplied the A2 right off the bat, decreasing the turn meter. So as you can see, a little unfair to pair since he is with 2 Kymars, but the utility we're already seeing is incredible. So there we saw his A3 being used. Turn meter decrease from the A1 once again. And to finish them off with another A1 from him. I think it's a very strong part of his kit that it reduces the turn meter. Increased defense is nice on him, as well as the block debuff, but this seems like more of a arena tactic. So his A3 just hit for 45k. And as we can see, constantly he's having his turn meter reduced. There is no cap on that, so every time he uses it, it does reduce the turn meter. Now we have the provoke. We have Rotos doing Rotos things, preventing the minions from respawning. An extremely tanky champion. As you can see, this Ice Golem barely dented him. And he's only healing from an immortal set. Final recap just to go over it. Khoronar put out more damage than Dracomorph. Dracomorph did die, so it's not the best comparison, but 967,000 damage compared to first Kymar's 600,000, second Kymar's 300,000. Rotos obviously carried with the 1.5 million, and then Dracomorph with 938,000. Alright, now let's take this champion for a spin in the arena. We'll start off with Duchess, placing a nice little shield on everybody. Block debuffs on them, so let's alter the turn meters with Sethalia. Let's aim straight for, I would say, a Nithrius Fair. He can be, as we saw from my last video, very, very dangerous. Let's steal some health from Santa. Now let's take this opportunity to provoke everybody. Got resisted. I mean, he does have a fair amount, but we are in platinum, so the requirements are very high for accuracy in platinum. That I know. So we will at least get to see one provoke going off. Choose her A1 there, decrease the turn meter. Now let's use the A3 and see what we can do. Not a ton of damage. So I think he's going to have a very specific build if you do want to use him in the arena. I don't think he's going to be a damage dealer like other HP champions can be. And the ones I can think of are Jack. I know if you put Jack in very high damage and gear, he can do a ton of damage and be very scary. So it doesn't seem on first glance that Khoronar is going to fill that void. Definitely going to be a fantastic support champion. He's a provoker. He counterattacks, reduces the turn meter. So there's really a lot to look forward to there. So we weren't really able to see how he can shine in the arena per se, but he can definitely be built with some high-end gear sets. None I can think of at the moment. Probably not a provoke, but some type of like maybe a freeze set, a stun set, something like that, just to add to his CC kit to really make him shine in the Platinum Arena. He's going to be extremely difficult to kill, as you can see, since he does place a defense up on him. So even if you don't have someone who applies that buff on your arena team, he can definitely be a lot of trouble for anyone you're facing. Alright guys, I really want to thank you for watching. I had a ton of fun testing this champion. I still can't get over how cool he looks. I mean, I think Plarium really did a great job. We all know they're very well known for having fantastic graphics. It was really awesome to see that they actually put a lot of effort into this and didn't just reskin another champion. Let me know what you think about Khoronar. Do you like him? Can he help you out in faction wars? I think he's going to be almost a must-have in faction wars due to his kit and due to how pretty much weak the Skinwalkers faction is right now as far as the pushing very high in it. Thanks for watching as always. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed this content. I have much more coming out soon. You guys are great. I really love the support. And until next time, everybody, thanks again.